Sample 14 is our intersecting seam, and it means just that. We have 4 pieces, we're cutting 2 and 2, and they will intersect at the center. You will cut 2 from the top piece, 2 from the bottom piece, making sure to clip all of your notches no more than an 1/8 inch deep. On the bottom, you'll notice that you have notches, and this is going to be for our hem, our machine hem top stitch 1/2 inch. So go ahead and do that, and then you're going to separate your pattern pieces from your cut pieces. If you notice on this top piece here, I have a notch at the top and the bottom, 1/2 inch deep. I want to stitch my fabric from top to bottom with a 1/2 inch seam. I'm going to flip it over so I can fit it under my machine, and I am going to pin and go ahead and stitch a 1/2 inch deep. I'm going to do the same on the bottom piece. I'm going to find my notches, I'm going to flip it over so I can see them, and I am going to pin and stitch 1/2 inch seam from top all the way to the bottom. Now that I've stitched my 1/2 inch seam through both pieces, I'm going to overlock the edges. I'm going to grab both layers of them and I'm going to stitch together with the overlock. If you don't have an overlock, you can use your own method, whether it's a zigzag or your mock overlock on your home machine. Now that my seams are overlocked together as one, I'm going to press it to one side. Doesn't matter if you press it to the left or the right. And I'm going to do that on both pieces. My next step is to take my 2 pieces, and I have 1/2 inch notches at both ends of both pieces. I want to match those up, but my important thing here is that I need to make sure that my seam matches right in the middle, because that's where it intersects and it has to match up perfectly. So I'm going to find that, match up that seam, and I'm going to pin. And then I'm going to pin at the beginning and the end, matching these notches. Remember, you're pinning across. And now you're going to stitch with a 1/2 inch seam right down from notch to notch. Once I have my 1/2 inch seam in there, I'm going to open it up, and I'm hoping that they match. And they do. You can see that the seam intersects all 4 pieces. Now, again, note that you can see my thread from my overlock through this, but this is just for demonstration purposes. You would use matching thread, you wouldn't see any of that. So now I'm going to go back to my overlock machine, and I'm going to overlock these 2 layers of seam together, and then we'll press and open up and do our hem. So as you can see, it's intersecting perfectly. It's really clean on the back side. You want the inside or the back side of anything to look as neat as the front. My next step will be to fold up my hem. We are going to fold at the notches and press that flat. I'm then going to double fold. So I'm going to fold it in 1/4 inch all the way across and press just through the seam allowance. Don't press on your folded edge. Now I can go back and I can machine stitch with a 1/2 inch seam right through there to create a clean hemline. I'll press my hemline. My last step will be to overlock the other 3 sides. Your intersecting seam sample is complete.